I mean, she didn't know you couldn't switch a child like that, because I was the oldest child, and she had never had a child before.
She never had a child before, she didn't know. And interesting enough, she kept not knowing for some years, because she kept doing something physical for some years. Maybe not so violent, but maybe more violent sometimes, but a lot of things, right? When you think about all those things, those events, how are you feeling? The same or different?
Well, different. I mean, I was going to say good, but, you know, I mean, I feel good that they're where they should be.
Feel good that those memories are where they should be, and when you think about those memories, do you feel terrible or happy or okay or nothing at all, or, I mean, you know?
Well, I feel like it was wrong to switch a child like that.
It was wrong. I wasn't even there, and I know it was wrong.
But I don't feel overwhelmed by it anymore.
Any emotional reaction to the memories at all?
Well, it's kind of like they were a movie.
Kind of like they were a movie. Good. Well, I'm really happy to hear this. Very happy to hear this. It makes me feel very, very good. I happen to totally agree with you about what she did was totally wrong. I also noticed that that's in the past, and there's no need for pain there. But what she did was wrong, and we don't approve of it. We're not going around approving of bad behavior. The behavior was bad. And you understand a great deal differently now because you have a different feeling.
I feel really great, actually. I would say that my whole demeanor, my whole way of approaching the world really has changed because of that. Because the traumatic experience that you and I worked on was really like my first memory that I ever had, and it was really awful. Yeah. And it kind of colored my entire life from that point on. And now when I look back on it, I just think of it like I think of all my other memories. It was terrible. I can understand that, but it doesn't have the punch, the sting, the other stuff that it had.
So are you not upset about it? So does that mean that when you think about that event, which was your mother beating you at the time, and you were how old were you at the time?
I was about 2 years old.
About 2?
Yeah.
And beating you till your legs were bleeding?
Till my legs bled into my socks. I remember the socks soaking up all the blood. So.
And she would do these kinds of things until you were about 9?
Until I was about 9, yeah.
And all those years, about 6.5, 7 years, were pretty traumatic in terms of physical violence. When you think about those years now, would you say you think about them and you feel some punch, some sting, or no punch and no sting?
You know, I really feel none at all. I mean, it's not as if I don't know that it happened, because it did. And it's not as if I don't recognize that it was a terrible thing, because it was. The truth is that I do not suffer from it anymore, and I think that's the really important thing.
No suffering. You can think of it, but no suffering.
That's right.
Well, you said it somehow affected your whole world or something. What kind of impact are you talking about?
Well,
demeanor, I think you said.
I feel like I approach people with greater confidence. Somehow, there's not this painful thing lurking in the background. I'm more present. I'm able to, for instance, just be here with you and really be here with you, rather than, being somewhere else or having this, painful thing somehow in the background.
More present.
More present. Yeah.
Oh, well, that sounds great.
It feels pretty great.
It feels pretty great. I'm glad to hear it. I mean, it sounds like in a short time, because it didn't take all that long to do it, it really transformed your life.
It did, and this was one of those stories that I would pull out of the hat and sort of tell people as a as a humorous story, and I kept having to return to that event and tell people about it as if it was a funny story. But when I really began to think about it, I realized, ooh, the reason I have to talk about this all the time is because there's energy here, there's something left over. And since then, I've really barely thought about it. There's no need for me to pull it out and tell it to anyone.
Great.
Just as if there's no reason for me to pull some random event out of my past and tell it to someone.
It feels that insignificant.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.